Hello, this is Gerald 201. This is the third and maybe last video of explanations of letters and letter combinations, how we can compare them to echolocalizations in space. And I had already the basics from these recognitions, but I will have a couple of letters that are transitions between the regions of what we can recognize. Which regions did we have? We had the region of space, that we can recognize things in space. We had letters that were used for determining in which time frame we are, some letters that are helping our logic in the context of what we are talking about. And these three regions, you have here the region of space, the region of time, which is also the region of which goes beyond our close by environment, and it enriches its environment with the environment, the close environment in which we move, in which moves are, in which the time frames are. And the last one is the large context, where all the definitions as well are. And let's say that language is also about vibrations that we hear, and there's a determination of what kind of vibration and to what it vibrates. The first of the lowest kind of vibrations, they vibrate on the physical aspects, and they determine, and you see the objects, and you can see, okay, how many objects, where objects, how they look like, and so on. The larger frequencies, there's a bit larger frequencies, and you can also hear them, gives you a determination, okay, something is moving somewhere, there's a time frame, we need a different way of thinking, we'll give it a little bit more time and we understand them. And the last ones are, yeah, okay, this a bit, it gives a lot more, you really need a lot more attention. It's because, it's only because we have some interconnective references that we can make up that something is changing in time and space, and we can follow it until a certain degree. So these are three kinds of regions that we can hear, and the basics for that, for these regions, are A, E, and I as localizations of these regions. The T, O, and H were actually the positions, the very close positions that can be that are filled in, so that with T we have a determination of something in space. With O we have a determination that we can have an order in time, and the H we have a determination that we can use a logic even at will, if you like. So these last letters that I had also were the borders of what that vision of these three regions separately. So if I focus on the space separately, the limit of that until where I can see is the K. The limit of what I can see and beyond that, it's where I can't see, of course. The limit of what I can see from what starts to perform a time frame is the Z, and what has its own follow-up in the time frame is the W, and in the context of what I'm thinking, what the borders of what I can still keep an order into it is there. The letter S will be used for it. There can be explanations in other videos how that works, but it gives a limit to my context. K gives a limit to what I can see in space. O gives a limit to what I can give an order to in time. And the H gives a limit to what I will give a context. And if I think that you cannot no longer give that a context at this current present situation, H. Yeah, sorry that I enjoy making that sound. I still have three examples of sounds, because it's not always that clear that you immediately know, yeah, okay, I have an object here and I can work with it, or if I don't, I will have something that I can work with it after a while, or okay, I can still see the context. There are also some in-between zones. I will not make it too complicated, but I will have three in-between zones. to explain here. So, and of course because they are in between zones, in a way you deal with full reality. So you have either an object that you can recognize, or it is there at some point, or you can see it in the context and you can keep it in the context and you can keep the logic in the context. In reality, sometimes it happens that you only partly see it where it is, and that partly seeing that's it, the letter U is actually a reference point of a point in space and as an object, where you actually only see a part of it, and you make a choice very quickly in your mind. Oh shit! I can't see the full context, because that's what it is a part that you don't see. But I go forward with the part that I see. What will that mean in language and in the logic of all your reasoning? At some point you will have to deal with its full context, but for now you will have your personal context. You start your choice of context, or there will be a choice of context. There's a starting point that will go towards the full context at sooner or later, but you start from your context. That's the you, which is a part of the context, a part of the objectivity, or someone's objectivity. So, or from someone else, or from you. It can be only a part of the full context. And that's how we make communications, that's how we start reasoning, that's how we start to exchange words and references and projections towards what we see, to make it clear in communications that after a while it will be clear what the full context is. But at this point we will start with a part, and this part of a reference point in space is the U. The same thing can happen is also an in-between zone. So I go one step back, instead of e, o, z, w, I go one step back into this frame of time, and I'll have starting points that are starting points about objectivity, about a real center point of vision. So you want to have something objective, you want to have a goal of something physical, but you don't have that. It's in a time frame. So what will happen with the letter D? It's the starting point of something physical, which can only become by entering a time frame. So you will get it after a while. So this D is starting point in the time frame of something that you will get only after a while. You have that's that pressure point that also involves this interaction in a process in time, and this interaction is important because that will be involved. The last letter also that I will express, and because it's because you are a bit dependent on what I'm just telling you about, much more than you can immediately see. Oh yeah, I can recognize it in nature. So that's why I don't make it too complicated and only have 3 examples. The Q also on that level, on that first level, but in the third zone there, the third zone of the full context, the Q is the first starting point of the full context, is also about physicality, about trying to be objective. But again, it is dependent on the process of context. So you have to face the context. So you have to see what is the context and what works as an objective. You have an objective, everybody has an objective, but it is dependent on the context. Like the D, you have an objective, but it is independent on a time frame, on the from the environment, that kind of thing. You can't say, okay, I start from it and it's independent completely. No, it will be dependent on that communication field in this queue as well. It will be dependent on context. I also have the H as well. The H, that's the next letter, that's the last letter I will do. The H then on that level of timing. So this the objectives, the timings, and then the context. So I will start from things that are related with timing and with formation. And this so everything that will be formed in time also depends on context, and that's what the H does. It will give you the context that it will be dependent on this full context, and it has to just be worked out in that process, no other way. Okay, these last three letters were already more complicated, so sorry for that, but I wanted to give you something extra, something to think about, and hopefully also these letters will become more clear within this context. Anyhow, I will not make it more complicated and go for a full video from this starting point of view. We'll do something completely different next time. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This was Gerald Johan again. You can find a larger list of previously recorded words at that short URL. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like. If some things were a little bit less clear, you can ask me questions or watch these three videos, I think it was. Yeah, three videos again. And if it's still not clear, okay, just ask me questions. I don't mind. Anyhow, thanks again. Bye.